welcome back to the Beautiful Things channel. Today I want to talk to you about what kind of sewing machine you need. Now, I should say first of all that I am a Janome retailer, which means I can sell you a Janome sewing machine. That isn't what this video is all about. I don't want your money, but the machines that I have to show you today as examples are Janome machines. The theory, however, of what I'm going to talk to you about works with any sewing machine manufacturer. Now, when you're first starting out and you want to begin to sew, it can be incredibly daunting. You have sewing machines that range from about £100 through to about £500 or £600 upwards. Which one do you choose? Now, what I always say is, first of all, if you can help it, don't buy one at all. See if you can borrow one. See if you actually like sewing to begin with. You might not. It might not be your thing, and you might have spent £500 or £100 or £300 and wasted your money. Ask around. I can guarantee you somebody that you know, friend or family, will have a sewing machine lurking under the stairs that you can borrow and try out to see if it's something that you're going to get on with. If, however, that isn't an option for you, you've got to think very carefully. You could spend £100 on a basic mechanical model like this. It does nothing technical, but it just sews. Does a straight stitch, does a zigzag stitch, sews backwards and forwards, what you want it to do, but everything on it is manual. You're going to be choosing your stitches using the dials on the front. You're going to be making your needle go up and down using the dial on the side, but you're going to spend probably about anywhere between £85 and £100 on a machine like this. That's great until you get fed up with it. And trust me, you will. If you get really into your sewing, and if you go to sewing classes in places like this here, you're going to be using one of these models. These are a basic computerized machine. The price, however, jumps from about 100 to close to 350. That's quite a lot of money, and it's quite a lot of money to spend straight away if you're going to be starting to sew. And you might not like it. What if you're not any good at it and you've spent £350? However, if you are good at it and you do like it and you've spent £100 on one of these, you're going to get fed up with that machine very quickly and you're going to want one of these. So it's a really hard decision to make, and it's one that only you can make. I can't tell you what to do. My personal advice would be to borrow a machine if you could. See if you enjoy it, see if you're any good at it, and if you are, save up and buy one of these, or this kind of machine. The reason this is better than that one, let me explain that to you. So, rather than using the hand wheel to make the needle go up and down, you have a needle up and down button that's going to take the needle up and down really quickly for you. You have a speed controller. Here we go. You have a speed controller on the front, so you can really control the speed. You have a start-stop button, which means you don't actually even need to use the foot pedal on your sewing machine. You can start it and stop it simply using the button. By having all these buttons and not having all the dials, it takes so much less time to do anything. I'll give you an example in just a moment when I show you this machine here on how much time you can save by making your machine be computerized rather than manual. So it's a time saver. That's the biggest thing. If you've got a little bit more money to spend and perhaps you're a little bit fed up with your computerized machine, you may want to take the next step. Now, this machine costs about £550, £600. It has a couple of extra features over and above this one. The most important one though is this button here, the cut button, and it is amazing because it cuts your threads for you. So I'm going to show you now a little example of how slow it would be to stitch on a machine like this versus how fast it would be to sew on a machine like this. So if you've got a manual machine, I'm going to talk about how it's faster and slower. You would have to put your presser foot down, you'd have to use your hand wheel and turn it so that your needle went down into your fabric. You then sew across your line, and then you'd have to turn your hand wheel to bring your needle back up, lift up your presser foot, pull out your fabric and use some scissors to cut it. So you can see having a computerised machine means you can put your presser foot down, put your needle down, sew your line, cut, and the needle comes straight up. It is such a time saver. So really it comes down to choice. These are about £100. There are machines between this £100 and this £350 machine, but they actually don't do anything particularly different. You're paying extra money potentially for a few extra knobs and dials, whereas what you want is the lowest of the range computerised sewing machine. If you're going to jump from a manual to a computerised machine, don't bother to buy anything in between. If you've got the money to buy a computerised machine and you know that you're going to love your sewing, it could well be worth just waiting a tiny bit longer, saving up a little bit extra money, so you will have the luxury of a cut button. Now there's obviously loads of other things they do. There's buttonholes, there's different feet. You're going to get lots of extra gadgets and gizmos with this kind of machine. You get a few more extra feet than you would get with this machine when you buy this machine. And there's lots of things to weigh up and balance. But there's two things that I think are the most important. Firstly, don't rush out and buy a machine. Make sure that you're making the right choice so that you only have to buy one machine. Because if you buy one of these and you get fed up with it, and then you have to buy one of these, you're spending extra money. So think very carefully before you make a decision. Try a machine out if you can. Go and test one. You can go to a sewing machine shop and most places will allow you to sit down, test them out, try them out and see which one you think is best for you. Another good thing to do is go to some of the big stitch shows like the Knitting and Stitch show at Alexandra Palace or the Festival of Quilts at the NEC. All of the big manufacturers are normally there and they're more than happy for you to sit down and try all of their different machines. Make sure that you've done your research before you spend your money. So I hope you find this helpful and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all again soon. Bye!